Hello and welcome. Imagine you have a wish and you are thinking about that wish for years and you are trying to manifest it and you're doing different kind of methods, but it's still not coming to your life. And you tried everything. You're trying to align with it. So you're doing all kind of stuff, but the wish is still far away. Why? And in this video, I'm going to explain you why is it far away and how to close that gap between you and the wish. Now, the reason why you don't have something that you want very much is because there is a gap between you. So you have an aura, everybody has, and let's imagine my aura is 6 feet wide. So according to that aura, I have enough energy to fill up that aura. And everything that I have in my life corresponds to that aura, to that energy that I have, that I collected through my life, that I expanded, that my parents gave me. So everything, my place of living, my circle of friends, my man, everything, my clothes, my jewelry, everything corresponds to that aura. Now, if you want something, that something is not within your aura. Why do you want it then? This is the easiest indicator that it's not in your aura. Is to find out what do you want. So something that you want is outside your aura. Otherwise, you wouldn't want it. Why? So this is you, this is your normal state, this is your aura, and something that you want is here. We always want something that is higher energetically than we are. Now, it doesn't have to be energetically higher, but in your mind, in your perception, it is there, it is higher than you. For example, if right now I'm hungry and I want to go and get myself a croissant, the croissant is obviously not higher than me energetically, but I believe that me eating the croissant, getting to that cafe, getting a croissant, the fresh one, eating it will increase my energy. You see, so the croissant is a little up, and that's why I'm wanting it, because it's not exactly the croissant that is bigger in energy. It's the whole experience will expand my energy. You see. So that's why I'm wanting it. Now, if I wouldn't care really, if I would get like bloated and heavy after the croissant, I don't even like the taste, the croissant will be here and I wouldn't be wanting it. Right now, if you live in the United States like I do, you know there is a huge Powerball. I think it's the jackpot is over $1 billion. I think $1.3 or something. And a lot of people want it. Why? Because again, for a lot of people, $1 billion is way above their norm. You see, if the Powerball would be, if the jackpot would be, let's say, $10, I mean, how many people would even buy the tickets? Probably not that many. Why? Because for the most part, I think everybody has $10, and to go buy a ticket just for the $10 would not even be worth their trouble. So again, that jackpot is much higher and people want it because it's much higher. Now, notice how big the gap is between, let's say, my current income and the jackpot. It's really huge. And so the aura for the jackpot, at least my perception for that aura is very big. I don't have enough aura to hold that jackpot, and that's why a lot of people, when they win large amounts of money and they don't expand their energy, often they lose the money in a very short period of time. Now, it's the same for everything. So if, for example, you want to manifest a specific person, somebody who you really like, why you couldn't manifest them very fast and because as a Reiki master, I can assure you, you can get another person very, very fast in no time. Like, this is probably the easiest thing that you can do. But a lot of people couldn't, and they struggle, and they try to kind of, to get that person for years and years, and they still could not even get them to answer their text messages. So again, your perception of that person is over here and you're over here. And the more you manifest, the more you lower yourself, and the more you're raising this person, the gap is getting bigger and bigger. You need to normalize that person with you, either raise yourself or lower them so they will be on the same level. But usually for people who manifest somebody for a long time, they believe that person is somewhat almost like a god, somebody who is far, far away and far-fetched. So again, it is not so, it is just a perception, and your perception makes that situation far away from you. So it's not your norm. Basically, any wish that does not come into fruition within like a month or two is outside your norm, and the gap is too large and you don't know how to close the gap. Now you probably know that there are some wishes that come into your life very fast. Very, like a couple days ago I was talking to my friend and I was saying how nice it would be to go to the beach and just sunbathe topless, so there won't be no kind of so that the whole tan will be like so perfect. We were just talking, really. It was not like something that we wanted to do. And yesterday I went to the beach and there was really nobody, just two young girls. I think they were visiting somebody, and they were laying there topless. So you see, that wish was my kind of norm. It was very close to my norm, and I could have over there been also sunbathing topless. So anyways, what I want to say is that there are wishes that are really very close, and then there are wishes that are not. And for you to get the wish to come to your reality, you just need to close that gap. That's what it is. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about. And if you think that no, I don't have this, you'll be mistaken. If you want something, you already have the gap. Now the question is, how wide is the gap and how soon can you close that gap? For example, I have a client who's making really good money. She's actually, I would say, pretty well off. Now that client doesn't live on the beach. I live on the beach in Miami since I came. I always wanted to live on the beach. I don't see a point being in Miami and not have the proximity of the beach. Like, what's the purpose of being here? Then I could be in New York, or I could be in Boston or in LA, somewhere else. So for me, living on the beach in a building, with the kind of beach access is a norm, or at least very close to the beach. Now for her, it was not a norm, because so when I first started working with her, she was like, "Oh, you're so lucky, you live on the beach," and I'm like, "Look, you can live here too. I mean, this is not such a big deal." And she's like, "No, I don't think so. I don't think my credit is enough. I don't think I would, I will be approved." And she had a whole bunch. So the gap was big. And the more I communicated with her, the more I was closing the gap, closing. And eventually she did, like I think 2 months ago, she signed the lease for a place a little further down, because you see, I closed the gap for her. You see, none of her friends, none of her relatives, nobody ever lived on the beach. So she always thought that living on the beach is for some kind of gods. I mean, somebody, and this is not so, really. This is just a perception. Yes, it might be a little more pricier, but again, she's making really good money and she's living off the beach in a really nice place. So she's already paying a large sum of money. It was just the perception that was creating this gap, the gap that she could not really afford to be, or she's not good enough or not qualified enough to be on the beach. Once I closed this gap for her, she applied, found the apartment and applied into association for approval, and they approved her. So what I want to say is that lucky for her, she had me who closed this gap for her. Now, we don't always have somebody who can close the gap for us, and we would need to close that gap ourselves if we want that something to come into our life. And I will give you the steps how to do it today. So basically, I even put over here, whatever you want does not match your current standards, and you are not grounded enough to expand yourself to that something new. Listen to this phrase again. Whatever you want does not match your current standards, and you are too grounded to expand yourself to that something new. So this is something you want, this is you, and you're too grounded into your current situation that you don't know how to get to here. You see, you need to unground yourself, and you will be able to get to the something that you want, or bring that something to you. So, but usually, if you don't have something, if you didn't receive something for a long time, that means that it's out of your norm. How does the norm is set in you? Is basically from our society, from our family, from our life. So if you were born in a very wealthy family, you probably are accustomed to spend a particular amount on vacations, or maybe on clothes. You're used to kind of to buy particular brands, or maybe a particular quality of clothes. So if something will you will always have enough money for those standards that was set in you by your family. Now, you and me and everybody needs to expand. So throughout year, we're supposed to expand our standards, expand our energy, expand our aura, expand our norms. And when we're doing it, we're getting ourselves higher. So you see, this was where our parents kind of set us up, and now we're supposed to raise ourselves little by little, little by little. We can raise ourselves much faster. You need to have particular energy and skills for that, but for the most part, everybody should be just raising little by little. Now, if you want something and you're here and you're not raising yourself to this, you will never get this something. So this is how it is. Now, how do you know whether something that you want is within your norm or not within your norm? I will tell you how. So the first thing that indicates that something that you want is not in your norm, not within your aura, is wanting that. So if you want something, again, it's higher than you. You see, if you want something, whatever it is higher than you, or the perception that you have about that something is better than your current perception. You see, like for example, you want a particular man. He might not be the best man out there, he might not be as good as you, but you believe that this man will make you super happy. So your level of happiness is here right now. You believe that if you will get that man, you will be so much more happy, even though it might not be true, but your perception is like this, you see? And that's why, you know, there is a gap that's not closing. You are miserable right now, and you're hoping that you will be super happy when you will get there. So it is like, so this is the first one, the first indicator that something is out of your norm. And second is, it's about how you feel about that something. So usually when something is within your norm, you feel normal, you feel absolutely calm, you know, like me, right? When I'm looking for apartment to rent, I mean, I'm looking at the apartments on the beach and I'm like, you know, it's whatever. Like I know what to expect. I know what to, like, I'm not overly impressed, or I'm not overly nervous. For me, it's a normal thing. It's like going to Publix and buying fruits or buying milk or something. So I'm not, I have no reaction whatsoever on something that is my norm. Now, if I will think, I need to go buy a ticket, and who knows, maybe I will win the jackpot, and that's over $1 billion, you know, I get a little excited and a little nervous, to tell you the truth, because just imagine that amount of money and that publicity and a lot of attention. Now you have all this money. What are you going to do? I mean, you will have some kind of excitement, some kind of nervousness about that. So how else can you find out? Imagine right now. Imagine you don't yet want that jackpot, but yet you want to act as a person who have a lot of money. Now you go to the store and you buy shoes for yourself. What is your first feeling? If you would be like, oh my God, they're a little out of my budget. I mean, again, you think that the shoes are high. You see, you are not. It's not within your norm. If they would be within your norm, you wouldn't think like this. You would be thinking like, oh, cute shoes, yeah, I think I need them, you know, will go good with this outfit or with that outfit. So you wouldn't have any kind of feelings. When I was expanding myself, and I deliberately expanded my aura, my norm, my standards, I actually was observing myself, how I feel about buying items outside of my comfort zone. So for example, I would deliberately buy a bag that I think is outside of my budget, you know, like the beginning I was buying bags like within 100, 200, then I went to 500, then I went to 1,000, and I think the last one that I bought for myself, myself, was like almost 6,000, and that was uncomfortable. You know, I knew what I was doing. I was deliberately doing that, but it was uncomfortable. So you see, it was out of my norm because it was uncomfortable. Yeah, it was exciting, sure it was, but it was also somewhat, really? I'm not sure. Should I do this? Really? Is it the wisest plan? So this is two kind of two ways you can know whether something is within your norm or out of your norm. You wanted something, and observe your feelings. So it's either you're nervous or excited. Either one of those. For something that is absolute norm for you, you should feel calm. You should feel calm and yeah, sure. No, that's fine. Like this. All right. So usually our norms are set by our parents, by our society, and then we're supposed to expand them little by little. As you know, I always talk about not lowering your standards. Standards are our norms, so do not allow anybody to lower your standards. So this is the topic for another day. Let's talk about the norm, how to expand it, because we do want to get those wishes into our life. And I'm on the same page with you. I do have a list of of wishes that I want to get, and I also expand my norm to get them faster. And I was pretty successful in that, much more successful than doing everything else and all the manifestation techniques. And if you watch my videos, you know I have quite a lot. But this really helped me. Expanding my norm, closing that gap really helped me to get to what I want. And I could say that quite a few of my wishes I got because I closed that gap. I was able to close. And if you think it's only material things, it's not. A lot of things, like for example, maybe you want to become a famous blogger and you're not sure how to get there. But you see, what are your thoughts about you being so famous? You know, are you nervous? Like me, for example, I was nervous for some time. Every time I would get like a negative comment, I would get all upset and sad and everything. And I was like afraid to post again because I was afraid to get those negative comments. Right now, I really frankly don't mind anything. I mean, people have their opinions, let them speak. I'm okay to them. I'm open to this kind of comments, you see. But for a long time it was for me like a somewhat a threat, and I was I'm a nice person. I'm not sure why people speak anything negative towards me. So anyways, what I want to say is that I closed that gap, not fully yet, but I still close it very much. And if you want to be like maybe a successful salesperson or successful somebody, you need to close that gap between you are successful and you are now. And only then you will be able to, once successful you is the norm within your aura and you have enough energy for that, that's when you will become one. And I did a few times like this, and it was always successful. So what do you need to do to expand your norm, to bring that something to your level, or you to that level? Now, be mindful though, if you will bring that something that you want to your level, you might not even want it. So like a client of mine was doing, she wanted this guy very badly. And I'll tell you, the guy is successful and he's handsome, but she's also very beautiful, and she's not poor, she's well off, she's from a very kind of a significant family, I would say. So she wanted that guy very much, and I told her, you need to close the gap. Now, unfortunately, we didn't work on her closing the gap. So the way she closed the gap, she put him down. So she started looking for shortcomings in him and shortcomings in the whole idea of a relationship with him. So she brought him down to here, and then she lost interest in him. So don't do that. If you really want that something, bring better yourself up than that person down to you, or that something down that you will lose interest in that. That happened to me too a couple times. One was a jewelry piece that I was manifesting. I wanted to get it as a present, and I knew that I need to close the gap. And at one point I started realizing that maybe this is not exactly something I want, maybe it's not as impressive as I wanted, maybe this and that. So basically I lowered the jewelry piece so below me that I lost interest, and I actually asked for a different present when the time came. Don't do that. All right, so the first step which you need to do, you need to start taking smaller steps. Don't try to close the gap between you and $1 billion right away if you are not energy of air. Do it slowly, start maybe with the $100 win, and then maybe $50,000 win, and then maybe $1 million win, and then a jackpot. Or start smaller. Why? Because then your mind will start believing, and the gaps are so much closer. You see, right now to manifest $100 is easy. I mean, I think anybody can manifest $100. Why? Because the gap is so small. Yeah, I would love to have $100 right now. Somebody comes in and give it to me. I would love that. I mean, I'm excited about it. I want it, but it's not a big of a deal. So it's not life-breaking for me at this moment, at least. So the gap is not that big. I can manifest easy $100. Now, what was the next one? The next year, I think another $100 something. So at one point there will be 50,000 when you're playing the lotto, And so 50,000 is a pretty wide gap. I mean, you would say it's a kind of, for some people, life-changing even amount. I mean, definitely it would be a good amount for me. So you see, it's already bigger. I wanted more, and it's the gap is bigger. So, but it's still achievable. It's achievable, you know. Even if I don't win this amount in lottery, I still can make this money, you know, within a few months. So, what I want to say is that do smaller steps. If you are manifesting your significant other, go for getting a text from him, and then go for having a conversation with him. You know, if you already put him so much on the pedestal, take smaller steps to get to be next to him. It would be much easier. You see, in the world of energy, you never go up like this. You never expand energy like too big at once. You have to take smaller kind of steps and smaller expansions. Why? Because in the world of energy, everything moves slower, somewhat slower. And if you will expand too much, you will fall even lower than your current level. So it's never advised. It's always advised to expand like this, slowly up and then a little down, up and then a little down, like this. Then when you expand like this, you're expanding and grounding. You will stay on that level. So when you will win that $100 is already a new level for you. You would not accept anything less, but to win $100 all the time, you see. So this is it's much better. Take smaller steps. That's pretty common and pretty like I think everybody speaks about that. Yes, it might not be as exciting as going for the $1 billion right away, but it's much more achievable. And it's you know, if you don't have much energy of fire or energy of air, it would be easier for you to achieve something going like smaller steps like this. In my culture, there is even a saying, the slower you go, the further you will come, which I don't always agree, but in this case I do because I also checked it myself. And don't take me wrong, I do have clients and I have friends who manifested something big, something out of the ordinary. I actually have a client who manifested a gift. Her man at that time gave her a new car, and the car was very fancy. I don't know who's listening to me, so I'm not going to tell you what car is that. And it was very much outside her norm. So what happened, she actually had an accident. She's absolutely fine, but the car was, you know, it's a fancy car, so the car had to be totaled. Now, and once she started having problems with this car, the man was kind of upset with her that she was careless, and basically that started fighting. So she lost the car and she lost the guy. You see, it was very fast, very, and not as harmonious as it should have been. So don't worry about her, she's fine. She has another car, and she has another man right now. But what I want to say, I just wanted to show the example. Take smaller steps. Now, another step that you should do, you need to expand constantly. Your expansion is not only, okay, so I will expand today for a little bit, and then tomorrow I'm back to my normal self. No, expansion is never, it's like progress in life, you know. It's like you always need to. It's like working out, you know. Once you stop working out, so maybe a month you don't work out, and then you will start see that your muscles are, you know, a little become weaker, you're getting out of shape, your posture is not as good as it was. So expansion is the same as any kind. It's a muscle that needs to be trained all the time, so you need to expand. So if you think, if you went to the store and you bought something super expensive and you think that this is enough for an expansion, it's not. It was only one kind of one time. For something to become a norm, you need to do it all the time, every single time. So if you went to the store and you bought a super expensive cheese for $500 for 200 grams, I'm talking about cheese really. I went to Italy, and it was they have really good cheeses there. But anyways, so if you did it once, I mean, you should continue doing this. Maybe try a different cheese, but it should be your budget for cheese now, like this. You could not shrink back, because then you didn't expand. You just tried something and you went back to your normal. So it's a constant process. You could not you could not do it once in a while. You have to do it all the time. The next one is you need to go into discomfort. So this is a must. Often when we expand, you see, I have the aura like this. Now, if I will expand my aura, it will be discomfort. Any kind of changes in aura are discomfort. So the same, like if I will start weight training, you know, for my muscle, it will be a discomfort at the beginning. I mean, it's good for the muscle, but it's a discomfort. So you need to go into discomfort. If you are manifesting, getting married to a man that you really love and he loves you, maybe you need, and you never socialize with men, maybe you need to start talking to men, maybe you need to start looking at men and smiling at them. I had a client that wanted to be with somebody, like really, that was the purpose of her working with me. She wanted to get herself a man, marry him and have a family, but yet she was absolutely awkward with men. She wouldn't look at them, she would never make an eye contact, she would never there was just, she was not doing a lot of things at all. So men for her were a threat, an absolute kind of threat in her life. And she and I told her, this is where we started, I said you need to start at least making small talk with the man. And her task was in the beginning was to talk to one stranger, a man, every day. So she would need to find a stranger. Either she will meet him in the elevator, but she would have to speak to him for a little bit. This way, for her body, for her aura, man were not a threat, but more like a pleasant diversion, a comfort, some kind of comfort. And only then, little by little, she started enjoying the man, their company, and she started expanding. And at one point, she met the man that she liked, and they are actually engaged right now. So anyways, you need to go into your discomfort. Discomfort is where we grow. We never grow in comfort, always in discomfort. Discomfort is what actually makes us stronger, makes us more resilient. Discomfort expands our norm, expands our aura, expands our energy. So if you want a new norm, you have to get to that to that something. For example, you're manifesting $1 billion jackpot, but yet you're feeling you're not comfortable spending $2 on a ticket. You feel like it's a waste of time. I mean, you need to go into that discomfort to attract at least $4 win. I mean, something you must give up something to get something. So you need to go in discomfort. You need to. I don't say that you need to dive deep into something absolutely not comfortable for you. Don't do that. Again, discomfort should be in particular dosages as well, but you need to go in discomfort. It's this is not without it. All right, and from here, if you are really if something is very uncomfortable for you, take deep breaths. Make sure that you take it with the nose and you breathe out through the mouth. Anxiousness always comes through the mouth, never through the nose. So if you breathe with the nose, you will keep the anxiousness, the fire inside of you that will not come out. So anytime you feel discomforted, like, you need to take. I remember the first time I did this, I do a lot of breathing techniques, but the first time when I was expanding myself, I was at the mall over there, Ventura Mall, and I actually saw the shoes that I really loved, but I knew that they were absolutely unpractical. They were fancy shoes, but I mean, how often can I wear them? So these are not the shoes that you can wear, like every now and then. It's you wear them maybe for particular parties, and I understood that it's not a very practical choice to buy at all. I mean, but they were cute, and I loved them so much, and they were costing also not practical at all. So I wanted these shoes, and I knew that it would be good for my expansion, but I also knew that it's absolutely it's just a useless kind of purchase. So what I did, I wanted them, and I knew that I should kind of buy them. So I went to the, I was walking around, and I was breathing like this. I was making, and until I felt calm about this purchase, I mean, I obviously justified it why I should have them. I didn't buy them. So I would not expand them if I were not calm. Only when I was absolutely calm and absolutely feeling great about this purchase, only then I went to the register and I purchased them. And since then, honestly, I feel great about the shoes. I still have them. It was not that long ago, maybe like 4 years ago, but I still have them, and every time I wear them, I remember that they were my expansion at that time. And I don't know, I feel great having them. This is funny because I have more like shoes that are more expensive right now, but still those shoes, they're significant for me. They mean something, you see. So I think I will keep them even when I won't be wearing them. All right, so another thing that you need to work on is working on your self-worth, and I have a video on that. I'll put in the description of this one. Watch it. Especially if you're a woman, you need to make sure that your self-worth is on point for you to expand your norm. You see, again, as I said, your norm is it's your standards, your aura, your energy. You know, if you don't believe that you deserve something, you would never be able to expand it. You know, like I believe that I deserve to live in this apartment, to live in this beautiful building. I believe, but if I wouldn't believe that I deserve, it would never be my norm. The reason why so many people could not manifest their significant other, because they believe that they don't deserve that person. And I will put a couple videos about this. You see, in this case, the gap is created because the person in question who's manifesting does not believe they are worthy of that other person, you see. And once they will, and to close the gap, they basically, all they need to do is working on their self-worth, that they are worthy of that person, that person would love to be with them, that they're just amazing, kind of, they would be amazing together. So self-worth is basically working with the love of the mother. This is what it is. Self-worth is always lack of that love, lack of receiving that love. So maybe there was love, but you believe that you didn't receive none. So this could be that. Anyways, self-worth is the crucial topic, especially if you're a woman. You must work on that. You must have a really good self-worth. Remember that in this world there is nothing too good, nothing too bad. We're deserving of everything. There is no question of how much you can deserve, how much somebody else can. It's about how fast can you expand yourself to that of what you want to deserve. Look, in my life, when I first moved to United States, I mean, there were things that I couldn't afford, and I was able to afford them. Now I feel like they were not even worth of affording. Like, I never changed by buying something super expensive or something super not expensive. Like it became a norm. Like the first time I bought a car, my first car was a Lexus, so it was a pricey car, and I felt maybe like I was somewhat almost a god because I could afford and I could drive such an amazing car. But after a while, it became normal. You know, it's not like anybody who can work can buy a car like this. Yeah, maybe it would be in payments, but anybody can. It's not a big deal. So what I want to say is that worthiness is just your kind of your beliefs about yourself, your perception about yourself. It has nothing to do with energy. Again, in the world of energy, there's nothing too magnificent and nothing too not magnificent, nothing bad, nothing good. So everything is neutral. You decide. You see, it's our perception that decides what we're deserving of and what not. Maybe your parents were telling you that, or it's only wealthy people who go to, I don't know, to Greece on holiday, to Europe on holiday for the summer. Maybe it was stuck with you. You believe that you are not worthy of going to Europe for the summer. But there are a lot of poor Europeans who are spending the whole summer in Europe, and they have no problems with that because that was their perception since they were little kids. So again, it's all in your mind. You can change it. It's not that hard to change. You just need to consistently speak to yourself, consistently work on yourself, and you will get there. Again, as I tell you, I work with quite wealthy people, and I will tell you, sometimes I listen to them and I'm shocked how anything that for a lot of people might be something not achievable for them is absolute norm. And are they better than others? No, they are not better. It's just their norm. That's what was said to them by their parents. It's just said by their parents. Like, I have a client the other day, she was absolutely upset that her man did not book a private plane for her. Now she needs to fly with the peasants in business class. I mean, just imagine, this is a business class. You're not like, I only can imagine if she would have to fly economy. What I want to say is that for her, this is just norm. You know, her father is always had money, so they always fly private. Her father is enjoys planes, so he has his own small one, like one of those for people, like really small, that he flies himself within, you know, United States at least. So they always were kind of, it's not a luxury for her, and now she doesn't understand how people can fly business class. So again, this is just her aura, her norm, her standard, and you can do that too. So again, work on your self-worth. Self-worthiness is important for closing that gap. Very often it is self-worthiness that creates this gap and then couldn't close, you know. Like for example, I live in Miami. There are a lot of restaurants here. Some restaurants are, you know, more affordable, some are not. And I know people who think that, like going to this particular place is out of the budget. I mean, but it's not really. You go to the fanciest places and often they have, you know, they do even have lunch specials. So, but even if they don't, I mean, well, how much will you all pay? And like a $50 extra, I mean, it's not that groundbreaking. I mean, at least for those who live here, they're used to kind of to this kind of gap. So anyways, what I want to say is that usually the gap between you and what you want often could be your self-worthiness. You basically, you yourself are blocking and creating this gap because you don't believe you deserve it. And I met those people and they say, no, I believe I deserve it. And then I start talking to them and like for example, I was talking to somebody who is trying to manifest her significant other for 2 years. 2 years. I mean, I would have already found the 10 other boyfriends. And so when I said, do you believe you deserve this guy? Do you believe you deserve to be in the relationship with him? And she said, yes, absolutely. And so then when I start talking like closer to her about it, I understand that she worships the guy. The guy is very high up, and because why she worships? Because she doesn't believe that she's deserving of this amazing kind of person in her life. So again, it was self-worthiness. When we start working on the self-worthiness, I start showing her how amazing she is, how beautiful she is, how this and that she is. You know, she started slowly closing the gap, and the guy texted her out of nowhere. So you see, it was only self-worthiness, none of the above. I mean, she didn't have to particularly expand. She didn't have to particularly do any kind of steps. All she needed to do is basically see the value within herself and stop finding value in that guy that she's trying to manifest. So all it took. All right. And another thing that I wanted to mention is loyalty to your family. Often we don't get something because we're loyal to our families. If you come from a family that is not very wealthy, that is not very significant or very prominent, you probably will feel awkward if you will become somewhat wealthy or somewhat successful. I see it more often than you think. And then you start kind of sabotaging yourself out of loyalty to your family. It all happens unconsciously. It's not like you're doing it on purpose for yourself. It's not like you want to stay poor, to stay nobody just because you want. But it happens unconsciously. Because whether you want it or not, we belong to a particular energetic system, to a particular family, and we want to stay there. We don't want to be an outcast in our own family. I also saw this in people who don't socialize with their family, but yet they're still loyal to those patterns. So you need to observe that. That is important as well, because if that is what's holding you down, you need to work on that. Obviously, you can come and work with me, or you can work with yourself, or you can just find what those patterns are and remove them. But I see them more often than you think. And they can really be in anything. Like for example, I'll tell you the easiest and the most I think comprehensive example was my colleague in my previous career. And so she was brought up in this family. I don't know what's with her parents, but they basically tell her that nothing is free. You should not expect nothing free. You should work for everything, like that. She had this kind of mentality. And so at that time, I was still working in my previous career, so I was working with energy, and since they were my colleagues, we used to practice all the knowledge that I was collecting, and we used to we used to manifest a free cup of coffee all together. So there was like 4 of us, and we used to do that. And she would never manifest a free cup of coffee. Why? Because of the loyalty to her family. And we found out that a little later, when she said, I think I know why I could manifest that coffee, is because my parents were always telling me nothing is free, you should not expect free, that it's shameful to expect something free, you should always give something. And I noticed that it's true, actually. Anytime I would bring something, like sometimes I would go get like donuts and I would bring for everybody, she would always want to bring, like, buy me lunch or something. So I noticed that she had that pattern of returning the favors, which was good. But you see, it was blocking her from receiving something unexpected and something good from the universe, from the world outside of her. She even, it was even to the point that she sabotaged her husband's career. I would say that she did, because she told me that, because she believed that it would be kind of not very good if she would count only on his money, if he would be the one who would be paying for everything. So she sabotaged, and he was very successful in his career. He was making really good money. But at one point he started having issues and problems, and then he lost his job, and then he got another one that was not as high paying, because she didn't want to be perceived as a woman who lives off her husband. So it's very common. This kind of loyalty to the family is very common, very common. I saw it in another, not my client, just an acquaintance of mine. She comes from a family who are big, you know. A lot of people in the family had diabetes, so they all on a bigger kind of scale. And she actually, she wanted to get in shape. She's a beautiful girl, and she wanted to get in shape. This is like her. She manifested all the time. She works out, and she never gets, like, she loses a couple pounds, then she gains again. Then she loses, she gains again. So, and she works out every single day, like, religiously. She watches out what she eats. You know, the hormones are all perfect. And at one point, I told her, I think you are not losing weight out of loyalty to your family, because everybody in her family is bigger. You know, her mom, her sisters, her aunts, everybody. So every time she goes there, and I only mentioned this as just like I didn't really give her no advice, nothing. I just said it to her because she was showing the pictures from Thanksgiving, and I was just like, I think you're trying to be loyal to your family. And it clicked in her, and she's like, you know what, you might be right, because every time I go there and they say, oh my God, you lost weight, and I feel like I want to hide, because I don't want to be the one who is skinny in the family, you see. So after that, after she realized it, after she didn't work with me, because she has her own therapist, I guess, who never found out this, and I think they worked for a little bit, and she was able to lose a little more of her weight. So again, you see, she was manifesting being slender for years. I think she told me she was doing it for like 7 years. She was doing the 369, pretending that she's a skinny kind of person. She was buying smaller clothes. She was doing everything there could be, and she could not get slender. Even she, when Ozempic became popular, she wanted to get on it because she's pre-diabetic, and she has some kind of condition that does not allow her. I didn't even know there was such thing, that you can have a condition that doesn't allow you those kind of medications, especially if you have preconditions. So anyways, so she couldn't even use that. Again, as I said, it was out of loyalty for her family, for her sisters, for her mom. So observe that this is important. I wouldn't say that it's as common, but it's quite common, especially when it comes to money, to any kind of physical changes, and to relationship status. You know, like in a family, that the mother was not happy, that usually kids are not very happy, because out of loyalty for that. So again, observe yourself. In those moments, you create that gap unconsciously yourself. So you might want to, so you start dating somebody and you are absolutely happy with this person, but then there is a whole family who are unhappy in the relationship, and you start creating this gap. You know, it's like you feeling no, it can't be, it's too good to be true. So you're creating the gap when there was no gap from the first, and then you're trying to manifest that person back, or that happiness that you had again. This is on a deeper level, but do observe yourself. This does happen often. You can overcome, though. Again, as with anything in energy world, you just need to expand, work with your norm, work with your standards, and you will be able to get past that. It's not it's not like it's not that permanent. It's pretty significant if you don't catch it, but it's not as like forever and ever. You can heal yourself, and then you will heal the whole kind of family tree behind. All right, that's it. I hope it was helpful. Again, if you are the person who is manifesting something and you could not, like, you just could not, you try and you try and you try. It's like a cup of coffee. You're trying to get the free cup of coffee and you couldn't. You go to the coffee shop every single day. Everybody got a coffee already and you still don't. I mean, maybe there's probably a gap between you and the coffee. That free coffee is not within your norm, within your aura, within your standards. You see, like that was with my colleague. Free coffee was considered a bad thing because you're not supposed to expect anything for free. So again, it's not that could be, the gap needs to be closed. It can become normal. You can become. It's not that hard to do, honestly, if you really put your mind into it. Now, what do you need to do? So how to know that something that you want is out of your norm? Is, first of all, you want it. It's already out of your norm. If it would be something normal for you, right, you wouldn't be wanting it. It would be like a given thing, like I don't crave the beach, because the beach is a normal thing for me. I mean, it's always there, available. Yeah, sometimes maybe it's raining, sometimes maybe it's stormy, but it's available there. So it's a norm, it's within my norm. Now, for somebody who doesn't live close to the beach, who maybe lives somewhere up north, for them the beach is something that they want. It's outside their norm because it's not as available for them. Yes, they can buy a ticket and fly and come here, but still it's not an everyday thing. It's more like a holiday kind of thing. So again, but on the other hand, for me, the mountains are a big deal because we don't have mountains here. So if I want to, mountains will be outside my norm, at least at this point of my life. And the second way how you can find out whether it's out of your norm or not is basically observe your thoughts and your feelings when you're thinking about that something. If it's within your norm, you would feel good, but normal, like calm. If it's outside your norm and the gap is huge, you would feel nervous somewhat. You would feel maybe excited if it's something really that you want, but you would feel nervous. You see, if I will tell you that you want $1 billion, you would be excited, but you'll be, now, what do I need to do? It's a lot of money. Obviously you're not going to get the whole billion, but you will get a good chunk of money. You need to do something. You will be nervous about how I'm going to manage this, who is going to help me with management and stuff like that. Or if you are manifesting a particular man in your life or a woman, you probably would feel like you're excited to get that person into your life, but as soon as it will be like a closer kind of thing, a done deal, you would start feeling nervous. What if something will go wrong? What if we will start fighting again or something? So it is like this. Now, if it's out of your norm, you can bring it within your aura, within your norm. Again, you're doing it by expanding yourself, and you need to do it all the time. So what do you need to do? You need to make yourself a smaller kind of goals. Don't go for too ambitious goals, especially if you're just starting, especially if it's something that's been that you couldn't get for a long time. So if you are manifesting a specific person for 2 years, don't go for a ring and a wedding. Go for a text message from that person. Go for a conversation, just a normal phone conversation for now, and then from there, you can move further. Or if you are manifesting a particular income, it's good to manifest $100,000 a month. But if you never had even $1,000 a month, 100,000 is very far-fetched. It will take time for you to close this gap. Start with 5,000, and then start with maybe go up to 10,000 and like this. Again, don't kill yourself while you're manifesting something. Do expand constantly. It's not a one-time thing, so it's not like you it's not like you spoke to the guy, you had a conversation, and that's it, you're done on that. No, you constantly need to expand. One conversation will not do. Conversation every other day would do. So you're constantly expanding. Or if you won one time in lottery, let's say $100, that's not it. That's not enough for the expansion. You need to come to the point where winning $100 in lottery for you is normal. It's just at least $100 I will win, like this. You need to think. And I actually know somebody who feels like this. Every time she goes and buys scratch-offs, she's like, well, I know for sure at least I will win a $5 back. So she buys $5 tickets, and I'm like, how do you know? There are a lot that doesn't win. And she's like, really? I never knew. Actually, every time I scratch, I always win $5. So you see, for her it's a norm. And then you need to go into discomfort. We only grow in discomfort. We never grew in comfort. So if you are trying to manifest a specific person, and then he texts you and you're like all nervous, you don't know what to write, you don't want to write, you need to go into that discomfort. Write him something. I mean, this is the person you want to spend life with. Write him something small or something sweet or whatever. The same with money. If you are manifesting to have particular income, at least do invest some time or energy or money into bringing that income about. Like maybe doing an advertising or spending time on recording the video like I do or something. So do go in discomfort, do kind of or for me it was because I usually get clients through referrals. For me, talking to somebody and telling them what I do was awkward, kind of, with discomfort, because I'm not sure how to explain to them that I'm a mentor to women. I'm not, and especially people from other countries, they're like, so what do you do? Are you like a therapist? And I'm like, not really, I'm a mentor. And they're like, so what do you do? And they couldn't understand, and it was awkward for me and uncomfortable. But right now, it seems like everybody understands. I could tell anybody, and it seems like everybody is accepting it quite easily and quite well. And another one is, if the discomfort is overwhelming, you need to do deep breaths. Make sure that you breathe with your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. So anxiety, all this uneasiness comes only through the mouth. It doesn't come through the nose. Remember, nose filters the air, so the anxiety and anger will stay inside. You can breathe through your nose, but the stuff that makes you uncomfortable will stay in. So breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. It doesn't have to be too deep. You can just walk around for a minute and breathe like this, and you will feel amazing. And you can actually do this breath techniques before going to sleep, before starting meditation. It would. I had a mentor. She was very masculine, so she had a lot of fire in her. She would always push us. As soon as I had a consultation with her, she would tell me, okay, 3 deep breaths in, deep breaths out, kind of like that all the time. I'm like, I don't need to. I'm calm. I didn't. But because she was so always anxious and agitated, she would always want me to do the same thing. But she was amazing. I mean, she had a lot of knowledge. I love to work with her, but this was just the awkwardest thing I had to do. And then you need to work on your self-worth. You could imagine how often the self-worth, your perception of yourself, is creating this gap. I have this client. I actually have a few clients like this, but this in particular. She started dating this guy. She was not interested in him. He was somebody introduced them, and he's not on her standard, on her family standard. Her family wants her to marry really somebody really amazing. But she gave him a chance. She was bored, so he entertained her. He bought her some presents, and suddenly, she started kind of falling in love with him. And when she started falling in love, she started putting him up, a little up and up and up, and she created this gap with her self-worthiness. She believes that she's not worthy of this amazing man. When he came, and he was not even good enough for her like this. You see, so her perception about her and him and the relationship altogether created the gap. And I see it very very often, honestly, with a lot of things. Money very often, especially if you are 9 to 5 kind of person who works and receives particular salary. when it comes to kind of free big money, you always feel awkward. You feel like, am I deserving of this kind of of this amazing treat? Am I good enough for it? So again, work on your self-worth. I will put the videos. If you need help, you can come to me. We can work together on that. But self-worth is important. Often the gap is created by this self-worth that was put in you by your society, by your parents. Again, not on purpose, but that it is what it is, like that. Like I knew this woman. She's from a Middle East, and so she always believed that when she will get married, the man will buy her gold. Not gold, but the particular jewelry and something. So she was expecting this. This is her expectation, her norm, like this. But she always believed that it's all we need to be like couple pieces, and then maybe one piece every now and then, here and there, So she got married, and her husband was doing really good. They live here in the United States, so he's making good money, and he likes to spoil her. But she's at the kind of, her norm was, how do I know her? She was my client, and she had she was kind of sharing it with me. So her norm was to get one piece here and there. She was very uncomfortable when he was giving her more. Again, she was okay with receiving something, but as long as it was not too big and too much and too often. She needed to expand. She needed to work on her self-worth. But I was not really mentoring at that time, so really I was just listening to what she was telling me. Not even sure whether they have to get. I'm sure they are. I'm not sure. All right, and the last thing that I wanted to mention is, do observe the loyalty to your family. It comes to the money kind of situation, to the relationship, and usually to the body appearance often. So observe that. Do please. I actually knew somebody who won, I think, 750,000 on a scratch-off, so like $750,000. And because of the loyalty to the family, that person, the guy, he was basically just giving money right and left, here and there, to all his family members, until he became basically went back to the to where all his family is. Yeah, he was a nice guy. I mean, obviously he helped his brothers, sisters, he helped his cousins, he helped his parents. But did he get anything for himself? Pretty much no. I think he bought a new car. That's the only thing that he bought for himself. Not even a house. Not even, I think he had a house and was paying off the mortgage, but he didn't even pay it off. So again, loyalty to the family can create this gap, you see. And if you will get something like that situation with the happy kind of couple, and because nobody was happy in the family, I mean, she basically was just creating the gap. So not to be happy, not to be disloyal to your family. You need to be loyal only to yourself. I'm sure everybody in your family will want you to do better than they are, and you have to energetically. The next generation has to be more successful, has to be better than the previous one. This is just normal, because you get in the energy from behind, and combined with your energy, you have to do better. So don't observe whether you are not receiving out of loyalty to your family, and if so, then work on that. Refuse to accept those patterns. Refuse to stand on the same level as your family. Move forward. It doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you just you, an individual, a successful individual. So again, don't be ashamed of your success. Don't create these gaps just because your family could not is not matching this. So again, this last two, the self-worth and the loyalty to family, is basically you yourself creating the gap. So maybe you want to spend the summer, maybe you want to spend a month in Italy, but nobody in your family ever been to Italy, and now you're thinking that Italy is so far-fetched that you're almost not deserving this, that it's something, I spent in Italy a couple months. It's not far-fetched, and in some smaller cities, villages, you really can rent a very, very affordable apartment, and the food is affordable. So again, but I know that, I went and I checked, I went into discomfort. Somebody might not, somebody might think that it's something too amazing to even dream about. Again, you create, and you see you creating this gap. The gap was not there. If nobody would tell you about how amazing Italy is, you probably will think, oh, okay, so I can go there, you know, just like I can go to Jacksonville, I can go to Italy, you know, right away. Don't even need much planning. Again, don't create that. And that's it. I hope this video was helpful. Send it to anybody who is manifesting, who is trying to kind of to attract something to their life and they couldn't for years and years. Let them understand that the gap is created probably by them, and it could be closed. It should be closed. It's very easy to do. I wouldn't say very easy, but it's very doable. You just need to put some time into it. All right, that's it. If you have questions, ask. If you have particular situations that you could not find out what it is, you can come on a consultation with me, or you can ask questions if they are short. If they're, you know, if I can answer them, please do ask them. And enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.